What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another one. If you are new to the channel, I'm Gold Pony. I do new car, truck, SUV reviews on YouTube, and today we're in the brand new 2023 Nissan Ariya, courtesy of Younger Nissan in Frederick, Maryland. For more information on their inventory, please feel free to check out the link in the description box below. So we're obviously in this one today because this is an all-new model from Nissan, an all-electric model from Nissan. Very distinctive looks. Looks like nothing else on the road, which I absolutely love. And you actually get some decent driving range with this particular electric vehicle as well. And of course, we'll be touching on all that. We'll be testing out acceleration, braking, steering feel, ride quality, sound system, all that fun stuff. So having said all of that, what do you guys say? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, let's start with pricing. And so there are a ton of different trim levels available for the 2023 Ariya. Essentially, there are too many for me to ramble off, so I'm just going to put them on the screen. But essentially, the Engage front wheel drive starts at $43,190. There are plus trim levels that extend the range, and of course, all-wheel drive is also available. Top trim level goes for $60,190. So plenty of different trim levels for this one. And by the way, the all-wheel drive setup adds a dual motor setup, dual electric motor setup, whereas the front wheel drive is only a front electric motor. And then just to elaborate on the plus trim levels, is essentially going to add approximately 100 miles of range if you are interested. But so then touching on the power plan, or power plants I should say, there are either again single or dual electric motors ranging from 214 horsepower to 389 horsepower, 221 pound-feet of torque to 442 pound-feet of torque. Power set to front wheels or all wheels, of course, they were single speed automatic. 0 to 60 time coming in at approximately 7.1 seconds for the front wheel drive, but then 4.8 seconds for the all-wheel drive. And now touching on range, because this is probably the most important part to every electric vehicle, Engage front wheel drive comes in at 216 miles. Venture Plus front wheel drive comes in at 304 miles. The Platinum Plus all-wheel drive then comes in at 265 miles, just to name a few of those trim levels. And on the particular window sticker that we have with us here today, 289 miles on our Premier front wheel drive that we have with us here today. But overall, as far as charging speeds go, 0 to 100% on a level 2 charge takes approximately 14 hours, and then 20 to 80% on a fast charger can be done at approximately 40 minutes. So before we do any kind of fun acceleration test here in our Ariya, I wanted to mention to you guys the drive modes. There's a few of them. There's Sport, Eco, and Snow, essentially adjusting things like the throttle response, the steering sensitivity, and also the transmission tuning as well. So now having got all of that out of the way, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and find it straight away. Let's go ahead and put it into sport driving mode. The drive mode kind of buttons on the wood there is located directly behind the shifter, so I just put it in sport. And let's find it straight away, and let's see how quickly we can get our front wheel drive model here up to speed. All right, 3, 2, go. Whee! Oh man, electric accelerations are so much fun, man. Even though this is the front wheel drive and it's not as quick as the all-wheel drive, that's still fun. You can still feel it in the pit of your stomach, and I typically say that with all electric car accelerations. And I know some people aren't a fan of electric cars, and that's fine, but once you drive one, you'll see at least when it comes to the acceleration, it's fun. You can't deny that. But anyways, to go along with that acceleration, as always, braking is equally important. So up front, you will find 13.8-inch ventilated front discs. In the back, 13-inch ventilated rear discs. As far as that 60-0 stopping distance goes, it's going to come in at 128 feet, which is pretty respectable. As far as braking feel goes, let me first say there is an E-step button located just beside that drive mode button. If you press that E-step button, that is your one-pedal drive mode, essentially. Almost one-pedal drive mode. Essentially, the way that works is it does definitely stop for you when you let off the gas, kind of like one-pedal drive modes on other electric vehicles, but it doesn't completely stop for you 100%. It basically takes you down to like 2 to 3 miles per hour, and then you have to hit the brakes, which honestly, that is perfectly fine. It's still a one-pedal drive mode in my personal opinion. It just doesn't come to a complete stop like some of the others, but to hit the brakes at 2 to 3 miles per hour, who really cares? It's basically a one pedal stop there, so I am a huge fan of that. But anyways, then touching on suspension and handling, up front you're going to get an independent strut type front suspension. In the back, independent multi-link rear suspension, front and rear stabilizer bars. As far as ride quality goes, it's been perfectly fine in my short test drive here today. Definitely no issues there. As far as cabin noise goes, as we're sitting at a red light right now, obviously there's no cabin noise, but the cool thing about electric vehicles is they are pretty darn quiet vehicles. Obviously, obviously because there's no engine noise. So even at higher speeds, I really didn't have any issues with any road noise or wind noise. Definitely no wind noise. So yeah, I was definitely liking that. As far as steering feel goes, it's definitely not as heavy as like a Tesla Model Y, but if you put it in that sport driving mode, it does firm up. So it is a heavier steering feel with it in that sport driving mode. But again, don't expect it to be like a Tesla Model Y. It's not that heavy, but it does feel nice. I will say that it does feel like a little bit better than a traditional SUV. So I do like the steering feel on this thing. I will say that. As far as visibility goes, the cool thing about this mirror is you can flip it back and forth. You can have a traditional rear view mirror if you wanted to, but if you flipped it again, there is a rear camera mirror kind of giving you that camera view of what's behind you, which is pretty stinking cool as well. I think I first saw that on Cadillac like back in the day. So that is pretty cool. Rain sensing windshield wipers come standard as well for a little better forward visibility. And there is a head-up display, which I'm looking at right now, projecting my speed limit, and safety features up onto my windshield, which again is going to assist with forward visibility yet again, so you can better focus your attention on more enjoying the drive in the Nissan Ariya, because it is an enjoyable drive. I have been liking this thing. But that about rounds out the performance segment of this review, you guys. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the exterior of our brand new 2023 Nissan Ariya. All right, so here she is, you guys, the new 2023 Nissan Ariya, finished in copper with a black roof, two-tone paint scheme here, so definitely looks good. I love this copper exterior, and it ties together with the wheels very well as well, which you're going to be touching on when we get to the side of this thing. But anyways, let's go ahead and start with where the Ariya is actually made. The VIN number does indicate, starts with a J, indicating that this one is built and assembled in Japan. So JDM electric vehicle here. That's pretty cool. But anyways, let's go ahead and start up front. You got that V-Motion front grille with the LED daytime running lights incorporated into that front grille as well. What do I mean by that? I mean these LED daytime running lights just below the headlights, they kind of go down and swoop as they are the V-Motion front grille essentially. So I also like the cool little design within the black portion of that front grille. You guys can see that there's little shapes in there. So it's like a geometry class in the front grille basically, although it's not really a front grille because it's an electric vehicle, but you guys get what I'm saying. And these headlights are like almost like crystal-like design. So pretty dang cool looking headlight design here. So I like it. Anyway, zooming back out here, Nissan logo, it might be hard to tell here in the light, but Nissan logo is actually illuminated up front, so that's going to look stinking cool at night. That's what Mercedes-Benz does, actually have that as an option for a lot of their vehicles, so I do like that. But again, to the sides, full LED headlights, meaning both low beam and high beam. Of course, they do come with the automatic feature as well as automatic high beams as well. So if you have your high beams on at night, it's going to sense a vehicle coming in the opposite direction, automatically dim them back to low beams. Then when that vehicle is gone, it's going to automatically bounce it back up to high beams. So absolutely love that feature. Active grille shutters at the very bottom, so it's going to open and close depending upon the cooling that is needed at any given time. You do have some front air curtains there to the side, and just by those air curtains you guys can see the front parking sensors as well, so you don't hit anything. LED fog lights though at the very bottom within the gloss black portion of that front grille, so definitely a big fan of that as well. But overall, this thing looks like nothing else on the road, so I'm a huge fan of the front end of this. But that pretty much rounds out the front end. Let's now go ahead and make our way to the side of the Ariya. All right, so now since we are around to the side of the Ariya, first let me touch on where the charging port is located, because I'm on the driver's side right now, so obviously a charging port is located kind of on the front fender on the passenger side of this thing, so in case you were curious about that. But chrome upper window trim does come standard, continues all the way to the back, of course. No rear privacy glass. That's one of the things that kind of surprised me in the Ariya. And actually, younger Nissan here in Frederick is having their other Ariya, because they have two available right now. They actually sent it over to get the windows tinted, because I don't know, I feel like SUVs should have at least rear tinted glass, but the Ariya does not. So anyways, take a look at the side mirrors. They are power adjustable side mirrors. They are finished in a gloss black in our case. I like that. They are heated. And take a look down at the wheel configurations. There's a couple of them. 19-inch aluminum alloys with covers come standard for all trim levels but the Platinum, because the Platinum is going to give you 20-inch aluminum alloy wheels. And again, two-toned roof is available. It does not come standard, but we do have the two-tone roof with the copper exterior with us here today, and I love the copper wheels that go with this copper exterior that we have. And honestly, the wheels are kind of polarizing. You're either going to hate them or love them, but they're like nothing else on the road, and I think that's why I kind of favor them. But anyways, let's now go ahead and make our way to the back. All right, so but now since we are around to the back of this one, the very first thing I want to mention to you guys, looking all the way to the top, first time I've ever seen this, but dual shark fin antennas. I've never seen two of them. Always on cars you either have one, or if you're a Mercedes-Benz you have none, but very rarely, like I said, this is the first time I've ever seen two shark fin antennas on top of a vehicle, so very, very interesting there. I don't know, I kind of like it. But anyways, you guys can see that rooftop rear spoiler as well. It's kind of separated with a LED integrated brake light up there, or high mount stoplight I should say, as well. Rear window wiper asphyxiated to the rear glass. You got the Nissan lettering spelled out horizontally. The ARIA badging is found on the lower portion of that rear tailgate there. LED taillights, of course, do come standard with the LED light bar going all the way across, something that electric vehicles have kind of come to be known for, I guess, which is pretty cool. I don't mind that. Trim level badging found in the back as well. You guys can see we have the Premier trim level. I already mentioned that, but rear parking sensors found in the gloss black area back there. But typically this is the portion of the review where we do the exhaust clip, but of course, since this is an electric vehicle, we're not going to be doing that. So having said that, let's go ahead and make our way to the back. Let's move on to the tailgate and make our way to the interior here. So now, since we are around to the back of the ARIA, when it comes to opening that rear lift gate, it is a power lift gate for the Evolve Plus trim level and up. Then if you were to go with the Platinum, it's actually a hands-free power lift gate. So if your hands are full of groceries, that's going to be the easiest route to go. But anyways, once opened up, cargo capacity behind that second row comes in at 22.8 cubic feet. If that was not enough space, there is a 60-40 split, meaning the rear seats do fold down, bumping that up to 59.7 cubic feet then. There is a cargo cover back there. There's also some indented storage in the back corners. And the best part about the cargo area of the ARIA is there's kind of dual in-floor storage. So there's two separate sections that you can lift up, and there is a decent amount of in-floor storage. Typically when I review SUVs, I don't see this much, so I liked how much storage was available underneath of the cargo floor there. But anyways, then make our way up to the rear legroom. That's going to come in at an even 37 inches. So for reference, I'm an even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I have back there. I will say the front seat does back up whenever I get out of it, so it was a little bit back further than my normal driving position. But if I was actually sitting in the front seat, it would be up a little bit further. So I did want to mention that. But anyways, rear ventilation does come standard. Heated rear seats actually do come standard as well. I love that. There is a USB-A and USB-C charging port back there, and of course a rear center armrest with cup holders then as well. But then making your way up to the front seats, 8-way power driver seat with 4-way power lumbar coming standard. 8-way power adjustable passenger seat though, coming with the Evolve Plus trim level and up. But I will say you do get memory settings coming standard for all trim levels. Gotta love that. Leatherette finish to the seating is going to come standard as well. If you go with Platinum, then you're going to get a Napa leather finish with some suede inserts. Heated front seats coming with all trim levels across the board. And then the Platinum is going to give you ventilated front seats then as well. Since we have that Platinum seating was of course plenty comfortable, plenty of adjustments on this thing. I love the 4-way power lumbar, so between that and the steering wheel, certainly able to find my perfect driving position in the ARIA here. And speaking of taking a look at the steering wheel, I love the steering wheel. It is tilt and telescoping. It is leather wrap, that comes standard, but heated steering wheel also comes standard. That is pretty cool because it does get pretty cold here in Western Maryland. And of course you got the flat bottom to it as well, so definitely a fan of that. To make our way to the startup, let me start by showing you guys the key here. It is kind of a newer style key from Nissan logo all the way to the top, lock, unlock, and of course the button to pop the rear tailgate there. But it is all keyless entry with a push button start. But the coolest thing about the push button start is it doesn't actually say engine start like most other brands out there, but rather it just has that recognizable power button. So I'm just gonna put my foot on the brake here and press the power button. So once started up, you will find a 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster, and of course you could check out your drive modes up there if you wanted to, and it does a cool little intro as well. I did want to mention that. But there are steering wheel mounted controls found on the left side of the steering wheel where you can essentially pick between everything you could possibly think of, really. Outside temperature, how much range or how many miles you have left until you actually run out of range and you have to charge up again. Of course there's tire pressure information for each individual tire. The list goes on, so pretty much everything you could possibly want on the digital portion of the gauges there. So but then making our way to overall interior quality, there's a panoramic moonroof coming with the Evolve Plus trim level and up. Since we're up here, overhead sunglass holder also coming standard. HomeLink controls coming with the Evolve Plus trim level and up as well. Dual zone climate control is going to come standard on all trim levels across the board. Wireless phone charger coming with the Evolve Plus trim level and up. Of course, you have your cup holders, and that's to be expected. But some of the coolest things about this, for one, I wanted to mention to you guys, there's no kind of barrier between the driver and passenger on the floor. So this could be a good thing and a bad thing. I kind of like it, but at the same time, if the passenger gets lazy maybe and puts maybe an old drink or old cup from McDonald's or something on their side, it could slide over to the driver's side, maybe get underneath the pedals. I don't know, but so that's the downside, but I do kind of like it there. Another thing, I also like all of the electric controls in this thing. So you got the electric controls for the center glove box. So that's controlled just in front of the center armrest. So I thought that was pretty cool. You open and close it basically just through the push of a button. Also, the center armrest itself is electronically controlled to move forward and backwards as well, whereas typically you're used to the manual ones that just slide a little bit, but this electronically controlled center armrest actually slides back and forth pretty good amount, I will say that. And I love all the wood trim in the Aria as well. I like how the buttons are incorporated into the actual wood itself, so there's nothing that actually pops out at you. So it's a very sleek, very minimal look. So I'm a huge fan of the overall interior quality of the Aria because it does it different, unlike any other brands out there. So for that reason, you guys know I always like different, but let's go ahead and take a look at the infotainment screen here. 12.3-inch color touchscreen display coming standard to match the 12.3-inch gauges, of course. Bluetooth and audio streaming, Android Auto, but wireless Apple CarPlay in case you have an Apple iPhone. Weather information you can check out up there, climate control information as well, along with factory navigation system, so you can check out your maps up there if you wanted to. And of course, you can adjust your radio settings. So there's 2 different sound systems that's going to come on the Aria. 6 speakers essentially is going to come standard for all trim levels, but the premium is going to give you a 10-speaker Bose sound system. So therefore, that is the one we have today. So having said that, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and turn on the radio, see what we got playing today, and let's test out the clarity of this one. That clarity was 100% on point. Typically, I said with Nissan and Infiniti vehicles, the bass is amazing. The bass was okay, but the clarity was crystal clear. That was an amazing sound system. I don't know, maybe electric vehicles favor clarity over bass, but the clarity, that was incredible, honestly. Anyways, so the last thing I want to mention to you guys on the infotainment screen is when you do put the Aria in reverse, you will find a rear view camera coming standard across the board. And if you wanted that surround view monitor that you're currently looking at, simply go with the Evolve Plus trim level or the Platinum, which is going to give you that bird's eye view, which is always going to lead us into safety. And so typically I start with an IIHS rating, but this one hasn't been rated yet by IIHS, but I'm sure it will do just fine because front side current airbags do come standard, driver and passenger knee airbags as well. In the back, you're going to have latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children, for the rear car seats, for real child door locks, tire pressure monitoring system, but also coming standard, adaptive cruise control, Pro Pilot Assist with NaviLink, forward collision warning, autonomous emergency braking with pedestrian detection, intelligent lane intervention, a blind spot monitoring system with rear cross traffic alert, reverse automatic braking, front and rear parking sensors coming standard, gotta love that, and traffic sign recognition then as well. And so overall, when it comes to my final thoughts here of the Aria, wonderful interior quality. Like I just mentioned, they're just doing it different, and I absolutely love it. It looks wonderful in here. Wonderful tech as well when you combine the digital gauges with the 12.3-inch infotainment screen and all of the advanced safety as well. So big fan of all of that. Decent driving range as well, depending upon which trim level that you go with, honestly. But anytime you can get a range over 300 miles, that is definitely going to be where it's at least as of right now. I'm sure it'll get better in the future, but that's pretty decent. One pedal drive is very nice as well, although I wish it would have came to a complete stop, but still it basically did. So I'm definitely a big fan that they have that available because you don't always get that, believe it or not, on every EV out there. Adjustable center armrest is cool as stink. I like all the electronics in this thing, but the only thing I can think of as far as room for improvement is the front wheel drive configuration like we had today. It's not the very quickest EV out there. 0 to 60 in what, 7.1 seconds or whatever I said. It's okay. It's kind of like the Volkswagen ID4, I guess you can compare it to, but the all-wheel drive is one that I would definitely not mind driving because that's 0 to 60 in less than 5 seconds. That one should be quite fun. So I do like that there is a faster version if you wanted to go that route. And so that is about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think of the Nissan Aria in the comments section below. Feel free to follow me on social media if you want to see what's coming next on the channel before it gets to YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe and the bell notification button if you're into new car reviews. That is what we do here on this channel after all. Do appreciate you guys watching more than you know, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Stay gold.